I'd like to ask for the higher self of Andre to come in now, please.
Yes.
Thank you. We have some questions today, and we would also like to ask if we can call in Ashtar, please. We would like to learn more about him.
Yes, yes, yes. Hmm. Yes, yes, yes.
Would you like to let us know and inform us about who you are, Ashtar, and what is your role?
No, I'm not Ashtar. Ashtar's not here yet.
Who am I speaking to then?
We are the Pleiadians. We are speaking now for Ashtar while we wait. Yes, it's not the time just yet to have Ashtar step in. So we can answer questions you have regarding the Pleiadian Collective.
Thank you. What messages would you like to share about the Palladian Collective with us?
There are many Pleiadians on the planet at the moment working together in harmony to heal themselves and heal those around them. The Pleiadians have been given a specific mission on this planet during this time to assist humanity with raising their vibrations and moving towards the shift that is coming. We would like to offer our support to any Pleiadian and anyone else who is listening, but this message is directed to the Pleiadians who may be noticing some differences in their bodies and in their lives at the moment while the greater energies come onto the planet. And you may, and we suggest that you connect with us as much as you can to have us help you with grounding the energies and centering yourselves so that these energies are not so overwhelming in your day-to-day 3D lives. We are excited and happy as a collective to see our Pleiadian brothers and sisters connecting on the planet. As you, Kane, and Andre have connected, there are many other dots of our collective all over your planet that have chosen to meet at this time for the last months of this process, moving towards the ascension and the shift. So this has been planned. You are all at a point now where you have done most of your inner work, if not all, and have spent time alone, have spent time getting to know who you truly are. And now is the time where your activations are pushing you forward into moving into this next step with all the love that we have for you in your hearts to be shared amongst those that you are with in your day-to-day lives from our collective and others. And you are seeing this love start to affect those around you. You will start to notice that the people around you are just a little bit calmer around you. And this is something that will only increase and become more noticeable as time moves forward. And this is related to how you will affect those and around you once we see our brothers and sisters from different collectives show themselves to make them visible by the earth, by the population of the earth. And your energies as you are having them increased are calming people, and you are starting to notice this in your family and friend groups. So this is the purpose of what all the work you have been doing. And now that you have met your Pleiadian brothers and sisters, you in yourself are a little bit calmer and a little bit more able to move on with your journey with a heightened sense of togetherness and optimism. And again, this is all part of the bigger plan that you had for yourselves when you came down here. So it is all moving to plan, and it is going very well. We, as the Pleiadian Collective, are extremely happy. You can almost imagine us clanking our champagne glasses together as we sit in groups of many of us, watching the goings on of what is happening on your planet and the influence that our brothers and sisters are making on the planet. So we are extremely happy, extremely celebratory at the moment, and we are watching in awe and admiration of the progress and the steps that you've made in your journeys.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And can you give me an explanation of why it's not time to connect with Ashtar yet?
He is busy. He is seeing two other things. The time is just not quite right now. There are things that need to be discussed in your session first that take precedence over your connection with Ashtar. He will come in this session or the next.
Okay, thank you so much. And can you explain to me who he is? What is his role?
Yes. Ashtar is, one might say, an elected representative, essentially, similar to how your government would run in this 3D existence. That is similar to sort of what we have in the Pleiadian Collective. It is like a governance of elders and ascended masters who live and dwell with us, who help and guide us with love and teach us, and help us to keep a sense of order and balance in our communities. Ashtar is essentially an ascended master who lives among us and is a part of our collective.
Thank you. Does he currently have any of his soul essence in beings living on Earth at the moment?
You might say that every Pleiadian who lives on this planet has somewhat of an essence of him, as an essence. The essence of all of us is within the people, souls on your planet and on ours. It is like we are sort of one big soul, all split into many compartments or segments, each seeking to learn and to offer something different in different bodies, in different fragments of energy. So as you understand the whole universe and universes reaching to infinity are all part of one thing. So in that, yes, every single person has part of Ashtar in them, as do you have a source, a spark of everything in you.
Okay, thank you. But does he have anyone who has more of that small little essence?
There are people who will have been contracted before coming onto the planet to be able to have a deeper connection with him. And this goes for many people who would have chosen to have a deeper connection with other beings and ascended masters on the planet. It is not that they have more of him in them, it is that they have the ability to connect and the urge and want to connect more with him, to feel his energy more. And this is linked to their purpose. And all the souls who may be less connected to him understand this on a soul level, that they have chosen not to have that deeper connection with him whilst living on the planet. You will notice that Cain has a very deep connection with Ashtar. This is something that has been planned. Cain has a very high vibration and is, when he's not in this body, a high vibrational master in the Pleiadian collective, as is Andre, as is Joanne in her collective.
Thank you so much. And then, can you tell me more about Andre specifically and who he is more connected with?
Andre is very connected to Ashtar, but has chosen in this life to almost just trail a little bit behind, to attend to some things that he needed to work out and to do in this life. If Andre was to choose to go within more often and to connect more with the Pleiadians and the Ascended Masters, he would find that the connection is very, very deep, very strong. And he would realize his own power and realize just how, we'll say, advanced he actually is in the scheme of the universe. And his part of his and who he is, by way of not feeling like the most spiritual or the most ascended, is partly due to him needing to have been around certain lower vibrational beings in his life to plant the seed of love and connection in them, to help them to move forward with their lives. And this is why you will have seen Andre mixing with many nefarious characters in this life, and these people will have entered his life for a short time and then left his life as his vibration increased, and it was all meant to be this way so that he could, first of all, learn lessons for himself and his collective, but also to teach the others that faced him in their lives. And it has led him to the point now where he's ready to meet you and Cain, and will meet other parts of his collective moving forward now. His work for the lower vibrational sort of 3D people is done now, and it's time for him to do the work that he was meant to do.
Fantastic. Is there anything that we can release for him today that no longer serves him?
Yes, he is going through a period of disbelief and fear related to how he will feel if things do not go as planned or as has been talked about. And we accept that there is nothing that we can do in this moment to help him with that. It is something that just is a need to see, to believe type of situation. So while he does have the knowledge, the inner knowing that all is going to plan and all is working out for the highest good, it is his ego and his personality that just prevents him from jumping too deep into putting all his eggs in one basket. And this comes from experience and past letdowns, and this is something that he has done very well with releasing throughout his life to get to this point. And we will just assure him that moving forward in the next few weeks, he will see a great shift in his perspective, and there's nothing to be worried about, nothing to fear, nothing to judge him for. It is merely just is what it is, and we all have our fears, and it is important that we work through our own fears in our own lives with the support from our Pleiadian brothers and sisters and our own collectives. And that is again why you have all chosen to meet at this point, because all three of you, Joanne, Kane, and Andre, are dealing with your own fears and your own worries in your own life. But on the deep down, your fears and worries and problems are all extremely similar, by way of which lessons you will have to learn. So therefore, you are all there to support each other. And it's like you all carry a purpose that the other person lacks in themselves. So Kane will be living his life one way and will have many, many gifts and talents. But he will be missing one specific talent, or not talent, but ability or awareness or way of being that will be complemented in Joanne, who will also have her fears, but will be missing some of the things that Kane possesses. Just as Andre will offer something to the group that both of you do not possess in yourselves, and this is how the tripod is completed. The analogy of the tripod is very perfect for your relationships, because without all three legs of the tripod, the stool would not be able to stand up. And it is a beautiful analogy, because a stool can also support many or heavy weight, and a tripod leans into the center to support the weight of the world on it. And it is a great analogy, and we would like you to think of this analogy of each being one stool of this tripod or a stool, supporting each other and supporting the world. And it is a very beautiful thing.
Okay, thank you so much for that clarification. And in terms of Andre for the next few weeks, what's going to happen for him to have that shift in trust?
Every time he hears moments of things moving forward, he starts to become excited and starts to find his passion for what he's doing again. With each day comes a new thing that is helping him to flow and to find his faith again. He has faith. It must be noted that this is not a lack of faith or trust. It is merely an egoic blocking of getting too excited for fear of being let down. This has, in one very special way, taught him how to keep his mind from overthinking and just feel a sense of whatever happens, and if it doesn't happen, I am prepared. And this is a very healthy way to be. He is prepared for any outcome. And this was part of his lesson on learning how to go with the flow of life and to just let life lead him to where he needs to be. And he often feels that after a period of overthinking and not trusting, that he can look at his life at another point and realize, well, he should have just trusted all the way because look at him now. So he remembers this every time he feels doubt about the broadcasts and about the shift. He remembers that whatever happens, he should have just trusted, and he will keep trusting and knows that wherever he is or will be, that it will be, he will be right where he needs to be. And this is a part of his affirmations that he does for himself, that he reminds himself that he's always where he needs to be at all times. And this is how he was able to remove some of those blocks that have prevented him from meeting you and Kane. Once he started affirming to himself that he's always where he's meant to be, that is where he was, if that makes sense.
Yes, totally. I understand. And in terms of his self-doubt and trust, that's quite normal, isn't it? And would be almost strange to know everything that we've heard in these sessions and then not have to question and really go within to figure out what we feel and settle into.
Oh yes, absolutely. It is very healthy to question. It is very healthy not to jump blindly into a situation. The Pleiadians and many other, in fact, all collectives, even Source itself, does not feel defeated or upset or hard done by the people on Earth questioning their faith, questioning the reality, and questioning whether this is all just poppycock or not. We understand exactly where these come from. Do not forget that we do not have ego like you have ego, so we do not get upset or hurt by those times when you scream at us and curse us and wish that we were all dead. We do not worry. We do not have the same emotions as if someone cursed you and wished you were dead. You would feel very upset by this. It is not the same thing. We understand it from the highest perspective, and we we urge you and suggest that you do release your emotions to us. We are happy to be the punching bags for you emotionally as you vent and get rid of some of the things, the emotions that are coming up for you. And we know it is not personal and it's not meant for us, but simply just a moment for you to release. And that is why we're here. This is part of the support that we offer you here. In fact, we can help you to get to points in your life where you are triggered so you can release these moments. So it would be selfish of us not to allow you to vent and to release those emotions onto us.
Well, thank you very much for that. That's really nice to know. And are we able to ask you, or who can we ask about the timelines, and is there going to be, can you see, for example, a timeline where Trump wins and a timeline where Trump loses?
We will explain this as best we can. There right now is a very sensitive time for the preceding few weeks. And it is important not to delve too much into what is coming. There does exist many timelines, an infinite number of timelines. However, we are almost defying the laws to be able to assist humanity in merging timelines to get to one point, one single timeline. And there are many points over the next few months that simply just must happen. And we are at a point now where it is a very sensitive time. What we can assure you is that there is something very wonderful and amazing coming in the next few weeks. Within 10 days, you will have received a whole new outlook and optimism and encouragement with what will happen, with how things will start to take shape. There will be releases of information. There will be disclosures. There will be appointments to power. There will be the dissolving of many structures, and this is all very exciting. And we cannot say too much more, but what we can say is expect wonderful and miraculous things to happen very soon. And justice is a word that we are showing Andre. Expect justice.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate that information. Thank you. And in terms of, I have another question, and I don't know if this is if you're the right people to ask, but I just wanted to understand. In the Pacific Ocean right now, there is radiation, nuclear waste being leaked into it through the earthquake event which happened with the Fukushima, the nuclear power plant. What is that radiation doing for the planet and for us as beings?
Yes, well, as you know, radiation is absolutely toxic to the human life and to the life of Earth and to the animals, and it does just what it says in the tin. It is radiation, so it is something that the body cannot handle, and if you get close to radiation, depending on the magnitude of the radiation, you can die instantly from contact. What happens is the closer you are to the radiation, the deadlier it is. But as you start to see the radiation move out to the sea and dilute into the sea, animals and humans who are affected by the radiation will start to have abnormalities in their bodies, tumors, cancers, deformities in their children, limbs dying, and the general dissolution of their senses and cognitive abilities. So that is just what it will do to the planet. As we say, those who come into immediate contact will die. Many animals can sense the change in the water and will swim away from it as best they can. And the time it takes for the radiation to affect the body is something that we are not so worried about with what is going on. The issue as well is it will feed into the drinking water of the people with whom it surrounds, and will start to affect the horticulture or the agriculture of the ocean. And once the agriculture of the ocean starts to dissolve, it can have effects on the wildlife, the temperatures of the water, and therefore it is like a chain effect and can affect the environment that surrounds the affected areas. The issue with water is that water is a conductor and carries can carry something very, very far and wide.
Thank you so much. And so is this another reason why we have to go off planet, is because that situation with the radiation is just too much for the planet to naturally cleanse?
Think of it more like this. This is happening because you're leaving the planet, if that makes sense.
Thank you. Yes.
This would have been stopped if it was going to have a devastating and irreversible effect on the planet. But it is allowed to happen now because of what we are expecting to happen with the shift, and this essentially is the beginning of the old Earth, if that makes sense.
Yes, thank you so much for that clarification. I've been wanting to ask that for a long time, so thank you. It makes perfect sense to me. I really appreciate that. And then also I have a question about new Earth structures. There are people saying that there will be new Earth structures starting to fly under the radar of the New World Order representatives. What are you able to explain and clarify those statements, please?
I'm not sure what you mean by the question.
There's someone saying that there are new Earth structures coming and being visible or making themselves known. We don't understand. I don't understand what this person's saying either. So I'm wanting to understand this statement because they are very vocal in saying that there is new Earth structures starting to occur or be present.
Yes, this person is referring to in the lower mindset, the new Earth is a consciousness. It is a moving forward and leveling up of the consciousness, and with that consciousness comes the slow and steady movement into a new way of life, with things like free electricity and med beds and basic income and just a general peace on the planet. And this person is referring to new structures, those changes that we are, or they are expecting to see in that mindset are already starting to show themselves. And the New World Order is being seen by some as a good thing, as part of the new Earth. It is with the confusion of the Great Reset and the Dark Agenda Great Reset, there is some misinformation being spread around and confusion and crossing of lines, and this is merely where that's coming from.
Okay, thank you. So in terms of the darker agenda, do we really need to even talk about that? Is it really what can you tell us about those?
Yes, the Dark Agenda is on its last legs, and those involved in tapping into that consciousness are fighting and pushing right to the end. But they are aware, as you are aware, that the agenda has already been defeated, and they are merely having a tantrum and throwing their toys out of the pram as they start to dissolve and fade away from our actual physical vision and view. So it's like, yes, we will leave the room, but we're going to smash all the toys and all the chairs and all the tables before we do, so that you have to clean it up. It's that sort of mentality.
Okay, fantastic, thank you. And so for anyone that's still talking about the threat of the New World Order still being valid, what sort of mindset do they have?
It's just a fear-based mindset. It is being chugged on all of the spiritual platforms and on their social media, on Google, on YouTube, on all the places that they are looking and seeking knowledge. It's what they're seeing, and it is hard when you watch and read and absorb all that content not to have those fears poke their heads in. So it is essentially that fourth dimensional mindset, which is a mixture of essentially the fifth and the third, where you have the bigger mindset and you understand that something big is happening and you see the corruption in the world, but you also have the 3D need to physically take action and do something about it. This is why you're seeing those big protests, where there's violence being ensued, and this is bigger mindset people living in the three-dimensional way of life, and not seeing the biggest picture, which is that it is all being worked out behind the scenes and we are all merely going through the motions.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for clarifying that. I love it. Thank you. And now, in terms of the ascension symptoms, are you able to give me an understanding of why there seems to be many people, excluding myself, I just want to clarify that and you can confirm, having outbreaks of herpes and hemorrhoids?
Yes, this is the body reacting to the changes in energy. It is similar to how a cancer appears. It is when the body is put under much strain and emotions are kept hidden for so long that they are not being faced and must show themselves in the form of a physical ailment. So on a very non-serious note, hemorrhoids act in a similar way, hemorrhoids and herpes. Some people are getting hemorrhoids and herpes, or are getting herpes from sex and human contact. But the hemorrhoids and herpes with relation to the ascension symptoms are merely the body's way of manifesting the things that you are not facing by doing inner work. They are just merely doing the inner work for you, essentially.
Okay, thank you. So if there was a client who had herpes, what would be the purpose and the message that the body was trying to send?
This person is not being kind to, we see a female herself. Yes, it is showing her that there is love to be found within oneself, regardless of what is appearing on the outside. This is a moment for her as well to go within, because with the herpes, she is not wanting to face too many people and to be intimate with people. So she is spending time with herself more. And one second. Yes, this is also the body just merely showing the effects of strain from all the energy as well, forcing this person to face some of her inner work, which will be done by spending more time alone. It is also teaching this person, to be herself around others, regardless of how she is appearing in the physical form, because her soul is so bright and so beautiful. And this is the case with or without a physical deformity.
Thank you very much. And for the people that have experienced the hemorrhoids, what is the message that the body is trying to tell them about that?
Yes, the hemorrhoids come from essentially forcing the releasing of the bowels. And Andre was talking to you about this earlier, and it is what he believes does hold some merit to this. That is essentially the body showing you that you are trying to force things and trying to control situations. It is also teaching you and asking you to treat your self with kindness and to be easier on yourselves. it is teaching as well, and Andrea finds this very interesting. It is teaching you how to be gentle with your body, how to um, navigate a situation that is very tough, having to fulfill a purpose, and we are talking about the actual releasing of the bowels and also the cleaning of the rectum, whereby the person will have to uh, be a little bit more gentle and have to nurture themselves through a difficult situation. It is teaching the mind to be to have discipline, and it is teaching the mind to focus on controlling the perception of pain, and also how to navigate through a difficult situation. We hope this makes sense.
Yes, thank you so much. And I feel like I've already shared so much emotionally about my own personal situation. I just want people to know it's not me. I am not judging anyone who has herpes or hemorrhoids, but I'm just letting people know this isn't me this time. Please.
It's a very natural and human experience, and the shame that is associated with herpes and with hemorrhoids is placed upon you very much so by the big pharmaceutical companies who are looking to sell their products. Obviously, both ailments are sore and unpleasant to have, and therefore other people do not want to have those. So this is why, you know, people are being cautioned not to be intimate, physically intimate with another person who has hemorrhoids or herpes. Hemorrhoids are not contagious, but herpes are. So there is a creation of distance among those people, but it is showing people how to connect on an emotional level and not need the physical intimacy to be able to connect with that person. But the shame that comes from having both ailments, and I'm not talking about the aversion to wanting to catch herpes, but the shame associated with hemorrhoids and herpes comes from the advertisements, the big pharma, and other companies who want to use their products to make you feel like your natural human bodies are shameful and you should be ashamed of them, and other people should be ashamed of them in you. This is how your world has caused you to feel the shame of your bodies, the shame of being a little bit larger or too skinny, or to have sagging skin or to have wrinkles. This is all falling under the same box.
Thank you very much, and my love to all. And I hope that these conversations has not made anyone feel uncomfortable or shamed. I do not think that other people now, after hearing what you've had to say, will view these the same way. So I really appreciate removing those stigmas from that. That's fantastic. Thank you so much.
Yes, we also would like to say in relation to that, that every single being in the whole universe and universes, both what we perceive to be good and what we perceive to be bad, are all perfect in the eyes of source of us. And those who look upon you, you are all perfect in your way and have a specific purpose on your journeys. And we are very saddened by the impact that greed and money has had on your self-esteem and your self-worth. But you are beautiful with your herpes, you are beautiful with your hemorrhoids, you are beautiful with your blonde hair, you are beautiful with your black hair, you are beautiful with your sagging skin, you are beautiful with your fat, you are beautiful with your small eyes, you are beautiful with your big eyes. You do not understand how we see you, the most beautiful beings, as we look at you, and all of your, in inverted commas, flaws are the most beautiful things that we've ever seen. We created you. We helped create you. We are delighted with our creations. It is not, it is the manipulation and control subliminally by the attitudes of those tapping into the dark agenda that has created your world to be like this. It is important that nobody feels in any way not perfect in themselves. It is not you or your fault that you feel like this.
Thank you so much. I love that. I love that so much. Thank you. And in terms of people sustaining from sexual activities at the moment, there seems to be a lot of people who have no appetite or desire. Can you talk to us about that?
Yes, as you evolve and you become less associated with your 3D bodies, you become less associated with the things that you hold attachment to in 3D. You'll find that those who are finding love for themselves more and more and more require less from people around them and external people. You're also finding that people who are finding more peace within themselves are not needing to soothe themselves as much with sexual behaviors, foods, sweets, or external pleasures. This is one part of it. Another part of it can be particular people are just more evolved and are requiring these things less and less and less. They are seeing sexual relations, masturbation, those sort of pleasures as unnecessary and not needed for their. Sorry, one sec. I was woken up.
They just kick you out for your masturbation.
Yeah, maybe. I'm back into it now. One sec. Yes, yes, yes. We will continue. We woke him up because we was going off track. And the message that we wanted to give you is one sec, he's feeling lots of energy right now. Yes, he will continue. The body is, as it evolves and becomes of a higher frequency, is simply not needing the physical human pleasures that it once did. This includes sleep, food, sexual activity, external visual pleasures. These people are starting to see those the pleasure from within themselves and knowing that the love they have the love they have for themselves is all they actually need. It can be difficult for the avatar to adjust to these new ways of life. This is why Joanne, you and Kane are not sleeping as much. Your body is just simply not needing it as much. But it is also due to the dramatic energy that is being poured into your bodies now to get you ready for the upgrade into your crystalline dominant body. And there is a natural urge in Andre that he's feeling to change his lifestyle, to modify his diet, and this is something that will take place. But he is merely grieving the loss of all the beautiful fatty foods that he has been eating. So this will take him some time, but it will happen. He is noticing the urge to live this way because his body is upgrading and he is wanting to not need those foods as much. And the next step is actually not needing those foods so much.
Absolutely, I understand. And will Andre Will Andre experience Cain and myself upgrading into our crystalline bodies earlier, and will that comfort him to know that it is okay?
It is probable and likely that you will all upgrade into your crystalline bodies at a similar time, because part of the mission is that you will need to be in your crystalline bodies for what is to come as part of a worldwide need for your mission. This is again not confirmed. It is all sort of dependent on how the body is and how the body feels and what the body and the soul wants at the time. But there is solace to be known that should any of you upgrade first, that your brother or sister will be happy and delighted that you in yourself are able to fulfill your mission. And then that person will be able to support the others as they go through their transition. Even if there is a point where you are unable to communicate with each other, as you are upgraded into your crystalline dominant bodies, you will have a greater sense of feeling of how the other person is and what the other person is doing. Once you are in that position, you will understand what I'm saying. It's very hard to explain, but it is almost like an inner knowing of the support that you have from your fellow brothers and sisters who are in a similar position.
Thank you. And in terms of Andre experiencing his mission in his crystalline body, can you give him that experience now, please?
Yes. Yes, he's feeling energy around his body. He's feeling great happiness and joy. He's feeling very fuzzy and feeling very at peace and silent. He's feeling silence and peace and tranquility. It is unreasonable for us to be able to show him his actual, what he will feel in his crystalline body without being in the crystalline body, but we are showing him some of the aspects that he will be able to enjoy when he starts to make his upgrade.
Thank you. And how will he look to himself being in that crystalline body?
Yes, Andre, he's already looking different than he sees when he looks in the mirror. He's seeing himself different. This is part of, as you start to love yourself more, you start to see what you truly are. And it will be a similar experience with the crystalline body. He will look like him, but he will be so different, and he will just see himself and just love himself so much and love who he is and just love the human form and love the beauty in his soul that he can see when he looks into his eyes, and he'll just see how perfect and beautiful he really is, and it will be quite a shock. He will almost feel like he doesn't fit in with his surroundings, like he's walking through an old world, like a matrix, it's like he it's going to be a very surreal experience, but it should be noted that whilst you're in that position, you will have a greater knowledge of how to handle and what to do.
Yes, thank you so much. Yes, it is consistent with what we keep hearing. So That is fantastic. Is there anything else you would like Andre to know about his experience or his transition into the crystalline body?
Yes, it will happen while he's sleeping. It will happen while he's sleeping. And it will be, he is seeing the old dream he had of when God visited him and cast a spell of love and he saw the beautiful rainbows. It will be a similar idea to that, a very spiritual and sacred experience. And it will be just that. And then he will wake up in the morning and his whole life will change.
Fantastic. Wonderful. Thank you so much. I really appreciate all of that information you've given us today. On another note, there was a question about whether Will Smith, the actor, if he's ever committed crimes against humanity.
Yes, he has. He and the whole family are part of the elite sort of top celebrities that partake in the crimes against humanity. He is not a pedophile, nor has he ever eaten humans that he knows of. But he engages in the parties, he engages in the prostitution. In fact, he has engaged in sex with underage girls, not children. His wife is bisexual and has also been involved in these acts as well. The children of them are not as one sec. The whole family has been placed in they are controlled by the mind, and they have been made to do the deeds of those in the dark agenda who are seeking to use them to manipulate and to influence the masses. This is why you see the strange behavior of his son and the strange behavior of his daughter, but also the strange behavior of the parents. It is from the outside looking in, a very strange and in some ways disturbing family. They, in this way, with what I said before, they are taking part in the crimes against humanity. They would be on a similar level to the Beyonce and Jay-Z, the Katy Perry, the Madonna. They are clones.
Thank you.
They've been executed.
I see. Okay. And do you get a sense of how long they were executed or replaced with clones?
It was this year.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that. It does make me feel sad because what I've been watching with the Red Table conversations, I thought was kind of quite evolving.
Yes. So you were watching his clone.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.